Magic round.
Yep.
Did you love this weekend up here amongst all the chaos that it entails?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was lucky enough. My first coaching gig was at Millennium Stadium in Magic Round. I think it was 2011 in the Super League, and it was quite an experience. I think this is all about the fans. This is, I think, the NRL and the game paying it back to the fans. Getting everyone here and enjoying the festivities in Brisbane and all that, but it's it's a really good, it's a fan concept and we love it.
And then on that point, it's great to see some Roosters fans too.
Yeah, it's always good. You know, when you get to go around the country and you get to have different fans from different areas come and support, it's important. It's why we get to do what we do. So just to say thank you and for them to come out, watch them train is always a special thing for them as well.
Most of your
Robert, is that much of an advantage that you don't get swept up in the night, you're not here till Sunday night like the Storm maybe?
Look, to be honest, I think that's professional sport is controlling the controllables and understanding that it is special. It is a magic round and enjoying that part, but then our job's performance. So, you've got to be able to handle all different types of events in our game, whether it's finals or Anzac Day or Magic Round or those things. And so, it's just another one to manage, but our job's to perform.
Keeping with keeping Magic Round magic, are you hoping not as many sin bins this weekend?
Look, that's not in my control. That's I know that we've talked about it a bit. I think I've said a little bit about it, but we want to be as clean as possible. And we leave it to them to adjudicate how this weekend. I think there's been a little shift, as far as I know, for this weekend and for the future. So let's try and be as clean as possible, and we're doing it for the right reasons. We just want to make sure that we've got 13 on the field as much as possible when the damage isn't too bad.
Is it frustrating as a coach when at least as a fan, it feels like rules or interpretations are changing on the fly all the time mid-season? That must frustrate you and your players.
Yeah, I don't think it's not a complete shift, but when small subtle changes over the course of a few weeks, you can look back in a month and say, geez, it was different a month ago than it was today, and that's simply what's happened in a small way. Nobody meant to do it. Nobody really tried to shift the dial too much, but when you do slightly, it moves the interpretations a bit, and so we just need to recalibrate that. We've got a great sport. That's why we're talking about it. It's so fast and intense, and so contact for our sport is more than any others. So we can't look at any other sport and say, oh, this is how we should do things, or this is what their rules are, because ours is 10 metres, high intensity, 60 odd minutes of ball in play, and it's physical. So we want to keep that. How do we protect the players but keep the physicality? And when that dial shifts a bit, sometimes we go a little bit too far, and let's recalibrate, move on.
Is it something you've had to have a conversation with the players about, or is it almost like an implied, like they know what they need to do?
Well, that's I think Wayne sort of talked about it. Nobody goes out there to hit anybody high. And so all you can do is you can't ask someone in the middle of a game not to do it. You have to train it and train it and train it, and that's a process, whether that shifts interpretation in a week or not. We don't want them anyway, so therefore you just keep training it, and you want that to reduce. So it doesn't change anything within a week about how you want to approach a game, because no one has that as a goal anyway.
You mentioned Anzac Day earlier in terms of big occasion. How important now is it for the Roosters to bottle what they did for you guys and keep it rolling now into the mid part of the year where there could be origin disruptions, etc.?
We want to keep getting better and better. So last week that was an improvement on what we've been doing, and it's about continuing on from that. We want to get momentum out of that, and we want to keep getting better. I think I've said it a couple of times. We want to get better month on month. That was a part of it, and then tomorrow is a big part of it again. We want to nail tomorrow night's game.
In terms of nailing moments like Sandon Smith,
yep.
Special performance, special day, your message to him as coach is that I want to see that every week or as much as possible.
Now that's the thing, is you can't recreate. Every day's a new day, so you learn the lessons from that, and then you want to keep improving. And so Sandon, it's no different. We've been working on his game week on week anyway. there was an improvement on the NRL field to what he did, and then we want to keep seeing that. I don't want him to hold on to anything. There's a long way to go still, and he's got much more in him, and I want that confidence to keep building.
Yeah.
Robbo Sando's had his critics internally, certainly not. But how important do you see that performance from him last week in his progression?
Yeah, it is important. You know, people, you know, I think we've backed him a lot over the years, and obviously at the end of last year and this year, and that continual support goes into those performances, and a lot of people are involved in that to get that performance. But in the end, it's him taking that on board and performing, and which he did. So we want to make sure that he continues that support, and we keep moving into tomorrow night. That's all we got. It's tomorrow night. That's all that matters, and looking forward to watching him get out there again.
Dom, what does he have to do to earn his spot back in this?
Yeah, I think it's getting back to his best. He doesn't need to do anything new or be anything different. He just needs to get back to his best, and look forward to that performance on Sunday.
Manchester Roosters have a good sound to it, in your opinion?
Yep. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think the stars have to align in some different ways for that to happen, but also believe in the Super League and what's possible, and also what we can do to bring to the Super League. If the stars align, then that'd be amazing.
Just on that, I think the Roosters, even last year, there was talk, 11 or so players that ended up in Catalan, and that's a couple more this year with Kez and that.
Yeah.
How important is it for all NRL clubs, do you think, to establish those pathways, whether it's as a breeding ground or just that connection for the growth of the game over there, and even feeding pathways through here?
Rugby league's we love it, right? So it's a beautiful sport, and it's mainly played in a few countries, and it's growing here around the Pacific. And if we can have an influence on the north of England and France and Wales and those countries, then we'd love to have a big influence on the UK and France mainly. And there's even, we're playing Jamaica at the end of the year, we played Ukraine, we played Serbia for France, we've played all these countries that people wouldn't know play rugby league. Czech Republic, they all play in a really small sense, and they need something in the north of England mainly, or Europe, to aspire to. Now, the strength of the game's in the Southern Hemisphere. If we can do something to support that and grow that, and then if clubs want to put some finance into it and create pathways and a link, then that's really, really important to us. So I like the vision of Nick, and obviously of Peter and Andrew, if we can get that going in some supporting rugby league. And then if we can play a part and expand the Roosters brand, then that's on point.